on, saying NBA reporters match made in heaven. Malika Andrews' dream man is Dave McMenamin. Usually, when personalities within NBA journalism choose to date someone, it's usually someone that is not from their field for one reason or another. But not only has Malika Andrews done the exact opposite of the norm here, she is and ESPN reporter Dave McMenamin have been reported to be dating.
I don't know who Dave McMenamin
that
is.
while these have been said to be from credible sources so far, there has been no confirmation, nothing the article had to say here, and I think it's important that we say that this article is not. I mean, she has, as they said, she hasn't come out to this.
So what's the point?
She herself is doing of something that.
Oh, I guess because she was talking about Udoka working with somebody that he's.
That is all it is. But the act itself of him having a relationship or whatever you want to call it with a colleague is essentially, according to this report, the exact same thing that Malika Andrews herself is doing here. And to me, and I think many others out there, this seems to be very, very hypocritical. How can you be getting angry about Ime Udoka, but then you are dating somebody that you work with? How does all of that work? Like, let's try to do the calculus here. Like, how does all of that work?
I also don't think she's married, so slightly, or engaged, or in a relationship, talking to somebody she's working with. You know, like, so it's different to have a work husband or work wife when you actually have someone at home.
Or are you telling me that Malika Andrews, that works for ESPN, has turned into a justice warrior for workplace policy at the Boston Celtics? Like, help me understand this. If the Boston Celtics did not have that policy in place, and instead they just
have a compilation of her versus NBA players. Let's see.
Isn't a hate on like they do.
Dillon Brooks should be suspended for Game 3 and possibly Game 4. Look, you have to clean this up. Look, we talking about people saying we don't know if he did it intentionally. He fouled him on purpose, and he did it with intentions. Okay, let's get that out the way. Here's the thing that we have to. Looking at the play,
you can't look at a person. Yeah, but you're making an assumption. Yes, you can. You can't look at a person and know what their intent was.
This is another reason why I do say having guys that have done it or people that have done it that commentate on the game a little bit more helpful. Yes, I think the Dillon Brooks situation, you can say, oh, yeah, he didn't mean to. You chased a man down for the end of the court, and then when somebody goes up in the air, you come across them in the head. You may not try to come across the head, but you definitely came with attention to challenge the shot. In the worst case, if I don't block the shot, I'm going to give him some contact.
It was a dangerous play regardless, but you can't. Okay. I didn't realize we had a
You'd all went out. These three guys have played in the NBA, and Woe was just quiet because he knows what time it is. Bro, if you've played basketball, you know what type of time it is. The person that's chasing you, they can, bro. If y'all go play in the rec, if somebody is chasing you down, I know this person more than likely will not block me. Dillon Brooks, when did you become a shot blocker? I mean, if it was Rudy Gobert, okay. Well, we talking about Dillon Brooks. Yeah, she's a pretty solid defender, but, I mean, he's not, you know what I mean, Tony Allen or nothing like that. He's chasing you down. You expect he's going to challenge the shot and more than likely give you a hard foul. But Gary Payton didn't even see bro coming. So that, but anyways, bro.
How old were you when you dunked the ball for the first time?
Now here's when he humbled her.
21? 12.
12. How old were you when you dunked the ball for the first time?
12.
I was about 13 years old when I dunked the ball for the first time. I know what a fast break looks like. I had 4 months out in a season because I had my wrist taken out on a dunk. I know not necessarily the intent to hurt, but I know the intent to foul extremely hard, and that's the repercussions.
Okay, so
Extremely
away,
fair.
she's getting upset. She was
like you said, may not be trying to hurt you, but I'm going to foul you.
Respecting her colleagues. The simple fact is, All three of those guys are former players, and they all said they can watch a play.
But I think this is just a debate point. I don't think there's anything wrong with her.
Play. He knew better, but all the
I told you
players
he knew
that
better.
watch game film and understand how the game works knew that play was intentional.
Woj, you reported that
Intentional contact.
Mazzulla will be the interim head coach here. You can see his resume on your screen. He's been a Celtics assistant coach the last 3 seasons after spending the previous 3 seasons at Fairmount State. And he played for West Virginia between 2006 and 2011, and now could become the NBA's youngest head coach at 34 years old.
That's crazy.
And we'd be remiss not to also mention that Mazzulla was arrested twice.
Whoa, okay, all right. I know that people brought up his past. I didn't know how she, I didn't know it was that smooth. I didn't know she just, this guy can be crowned for multiple achievements, but here's what's really going on. That's wild. Oh my gosh. In the same breath. Not even in the same breath. She went and dropped. Bro, that's crazy.
Once in 2008 for underage drinking and aggravated assault.
What?
Guilty, paid a fine, and then again in 2009 for domestic.
Why did she do that?
Incident at Morgantown Bar. The domestic battery case never went to trial. It was settled in August of 2009. He paid a $100 fine and court costs, plus had to do 40 hours of community service.
She might be reading off a screen.
13 years ago, he settled and paid both fines.
Bringing up someone.
Why did she say that?
How it could affect their future job is okay in itself. But going off what we know about Malika and her past behavior, do you think it would have been acceptable if someone
All right, listen to the first second, and I think they brought up his past. But they brought it up in response to the Celtics' response to what was going on with Udoka. The way she delivered that was crazy to me. I don't know.
else on the panel had brought those things up about a woman? I have a hard time seeing it because she won't even hold women accountable that are doing wrong right now. So why would
Like you said, to be like, oh, as the Celtics, we stand against this, and this is exactly how we're going to operate in this. But then to be like, okay, even though he's the assistant coach, this is our step towards becoming better and promoting the positive message that we're trying to send. But then bringing somebody who's had similar allegations to the forefront isn't it's like one. What do you say? That saying is crazy, but essentially, you're not really sending us the message you thought you were going to be sending. But the way she delivered that information was crazy.
And just cuss them out to their damn near in tears, and they're grown men. You know, Michael Jordan probably would have been fighting his teammates if he had to see some of the stuff that these guys do. So I feel like what makes LeBron great, he's always been knocked, oh, he's not a killer, he'll make the right pass, and I've always loved that. But I also think sometimes that hurts him because, not saying I've never had him as a leader, and I'm sure he has his ways of particularly leading this team, but I know for a fact if the two guys that I mentioned before saw some of the effort and energy that he saw from his teammates this year, it would have been an issue.
I mean, when Kobe, Dwight, and Nash all had injuries, though, they didn't win a playoff game.
They got to the playoffs, though.
But they didn't win a game. Neither did this Lakers team.
They got to the playoffs.
The year 19, when he was averaging 22 on 37% shooting, Kobe did. The Lakers, they went 10 and 25 in the games that he played in. So I'm not sure it's. I understand what you're saying.
I'm confused because even in this snippet, what Matt Barnes was referring to. So I see the headline says, "How will Lakers be remembered?" Remember since they had this bad 4-17 record after the All-Star break and they didn't make it to the playoffs. Blah 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 blah. LeBron's year 19. Matt Barnes made a comparison to Kobe Bryant's leadership. So even though I wasn't on the court, me being on the sidelines, me being in the practice, me being in the locker rooms, helped y'all strive. Now, I only played, what did she say? It was 10 and whatever. He only played 30 games. So it's going to be hard for y'all to get to the rhythm with me playing. Adding a whole new piece to the puzzle. And while you're already hobbling on injury. Now, you can make, the record is what you can make of itself, but we still made it to the playoffs. We're talking about leadership.
Saying that, but I'm not so sure it's say, well, Kobe Bryant would have been the white horse to Kobe Bryant
Definitely not saying that, but what I'm saying is Kobe would get in, like he would not let the way
but
some of
if you
his
get in
teammates
someone's
play
face and it doesn't turn into wins, then you're just getting in somebody's face.
But it's going to be.
She's trying to like make this. I get what you're trying to say. Like, oh, just because you become demonstrative doesn't necessarily mean that you're being a leader, and doesn't necessarily mean that you're making anything that's conducive to bettering the team. But they did get wins. Like the infamous moment where Kobe was in the practice with the Lakers and was like, yo, why do I come to practice? Y'all are soft like Charmin. That incident, didn't that wake up the Lakers and the game after that? Nick Young got a game winner? So you can sit there and say, yeah, it may or may not work, but for the Lakers, it worked. And in this particular instance, it worked because it went to the playoffs.
Be a problem the entire season, and it just didn't seem like at some point it just seemed like everyone's just like, oh well, forget it, it is what it is. And I just know, like I said, this is not even what LeBron has been able to do this season alone has been absolutely incredible. He continues to climb the historical ladder, but I'm just saying from a standpoint of just not having what he saw on a day in day out basis, sometimes those guys wouldn't have had it like that.
Here again, she's not really respecting the experiences that Matt Barnes has gone through as a player. That's the unique thing that he brings to the panel that no one else has, other than the other players, of course. But on that panel, he's the player. He's been there. He's done that. He knows how Kobe leads, and he's seen how LeBron leads, and he knows it's different. And all he's doing is pointing out the difference.
Yeah,
he wasn't being
I think that's the
vulgar.
argument
He
was
wasn't
making.
hating on LeBron. He
Right.
was simply pointing out that Michael and Kobe lead differently than LeBron, and sometimes it works better that way, and sometimes it doesn't.
Stephen A.,
Yep.
with all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. The fact that it was able to go on all day, the fact that we are sitting here debating whether somebody else should have been suspended or not, we are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
With this one, we already know she falsely accused Stephen A. of blaming women, but what I'd like to add is if you're the guilty party that slept with Ime Udoka, why don't you come forward to stop the speculation? If you know your coworkers that
Because
are
they don't want the backlash.
are being dragged on social media,
They don't want the
why
backlash.
don't you take responsibility for your actions?
They don't want the
Notice how
backlash.
she never called for that. Instead, she's blaming everybody else for wondering why the woman wasn't punished. And that's not fair. Especially when she's the one that just aired out the new coach's dirty laundry all over national television.
When they asked, is anybody else going to be punished? And they said no. And my whole thing is this, right? These are some of the facts that have been out. These are some facts that I know that, you know, this relationship,
That
one
is
of these
something crazy.
relationships that was had with Ime Udoka and one of these women, it was consensual, meaning
Udoka.
that this woman actually played a part in it too. So my thing is,
I guess they
Ime
determined that
Udoka was
he didn't get suspended. I don't know what you're talking about. It was left a little bit
wrong.
more.
We get that. His punishment,
whatever,
he
but-
deserved that, and whatever else follows, I hate it for him, but he put himself in this position. But why are the other people getting left off the hook?
Well,
That's the problem that I have right now.
Kendrick,
Everybody got to be held accountable.
I think that we need to circle back to what Shanae said, is that there was a investigation that was conducted by an independent law firm here, and I think that transparency is what will rule the day here. And so without having all of the information, it is unfair and irresponsible of us to go and to speculate on that, because what we have to...
Well, I'm not speculating.
Sure.
I have the information. I'm not speculating.
But what we have to go with here is the fact that an independent law firm came in, did this investigation, and the facts that they were presented, they came to the conclusion that Ime Udoka violated a policy that warranted a 1-year suspension, and I share your frustration with the lack of transparency while understanding that there is some things that they need to, from a legal perspective, keep private. But knowing all of that, understanding all of that, we have to come to a conclusion that whatever rule, the conduct that was broken on one side, it is not the same on the other side. I thank you for your perspective.
The last thing I want to mention...
Oh, did she
is
say,
notice how
I thank you
in
for your
every one
perspective
of
and
these
got him
clips,
off?
She's interrupting the speaker,
Yeah.
but no one ever interrupts her. Once she's taken the floor, it's her floor. That's what I don't like. It's okay to disagree and it's off the air, and that was the end of it. if someone says something she doesn't like, she's allowed to interrupt and even cut them off completely. And I do not like that one bit. That's my biggest problem with all this. But that's just what I think about all this. Let me know in the comments.
Dang. Y'all got some beef from Malika Andrews, man. Sheesh. What do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? ESPN spied on a whole hotel room before getting her fired. Oh, no. I had to check that out. You see that? They said Rachel Nichols said ESPN was spying on her. I don't know. Look, what videos y'all want to see? Let me know in the comments below. Stay tuned to the next one. Peace.